going to high school. I lived with my mom and dad in a little town called Spanish Fort, Alabama. I think there was one blinking light, but there wasn't a lot of trouble for a young man to get into, but there was a lot of things that you could do outside. For instance, we had Mobile Bay right out in front of us. Just looking off the backyard, there's Mobile Bay. And there were three rivers that came down into Mobile Bay, if my memory serves me correctly. And we would get in flat bottom boats and go up those rivers and go fishing. But it was always amazing to me how three rivers could come together and form something so much greater. Three rivers combining together came into Mobile Bay, which of course was saltwater, and turned it brackish. Those three rivers coming in changed the environment. So on one side of the causeway, we would catch more seafood from a saltwater variety. And on the other side, we would catch smallmouth bass and freshwater fish. But it was amazing to me how three rivers coming together could change an environment. There are three rivers that come together that can change your heart. People always ask me, Pastor Sumrall, how do you grow in love? Well, yes, it's a fruit of the Spirit. But there are three tributaries to the river of love in your heart. In our devotional text today in 1 Timothy chapter 1, beginning with verse 5, Paul said, the purpose of my instruction is that all believers would be filled with love that comes from a pure heart, a clear conscience, and a genuine faith. But some people have missed this whole point. Paul said, with all the teaching I do, Paul said, you know what? There are some people that miss the big idea. He said, there are people that miss this whole point. And they've turned away from these things, from a pure heart, a clear conscience, and a genuine faith. They've turned away from these things and spend their time in meaningless discussion. So maybe we should major on the majors. Maybe we should look at what are the whole point. First of all, the whole point is love that comes from a pure heart, a clear conscience, and a genuine faith. Now that is the whole point. You see, people who tell me that they're walking in love, but they live a life of compromise and sin, hanging out in the clubs, premarital sex, sexual immorality, pornography, drinking, lying, cheating, corruption, and then, but we're walking in love. No, there's no love in your heart. You've just learned how to put on a show. People who don't have a clear conscience, who live with a seared conscience. Have you ever noticed that there are some people that can steal? There are some people that can lie. There are some people that can go out and commit adultery. They can do all kinds of sin, and it never bothers them. That is not a cleared conscience. That is what Paul would call a seared conscience. It's like seared with a hot iron. It's just scar tissue. They don't feel anything anymore. So it takes a clear conscience to walk in love. It takes living a life of holiness that walks in love. And then it takes a genuine faith, not an imitated faith. You're not doing things just because you see other people do them. You're not praying for things just because you see other people praying for them, but there's a genuine faith in your life. Now, this is the whole point. Love that flows from three things. Love that flows from a pure heart, a clear conscience, and a genuine faith. That's the whole point.